This will certainly be another year where a number of Hawkeyes will have an opportunity to be drafted. There isn't a Tristan Wirfs in this class. Nobody's going to go in the first round.
Who's the top prospect this year from the Hawkeyes?
Certainly, I think Davion Nixon is the one who's drawing the most attention from scouts. He had been projected as high as a first-round pick, maybe coming off of a very demonstrative Big Ten season, Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year, Big Ten Defensive Lineman of the Year, led the conference in tackles for a loss. Very active player, kind of a one-year guy though as a starter, and I think that has some teams kind of backing off a bit. Right now he's projected to be a second or third round selection. Probably means day two, Friday evening opportunity for him, but certainly an opportunity at the next level for a player who really only had one season of major competition at the Big Ten level. I think he was one of those guys who'd factored into the rotation as a sophomore in 2019 for Iowa, kind of a backup, coming off of a junior college year and a redshirt season at Iowa. He got a taste of action, made one start as a sophomore, then moved into the starting lineup last season, was effective right away, had 7 tackles in a game at Purdue, including a couple for a loss. Followed that up the following week with 11 tackles, and he and Chauncey Golston of Iowa shared the Big Ten lead for tackles by defensive linemen. They were extremely active and a big reason why Iowa was able to string together those 6 wins at the end of the season. He certainly had a decision to make at the end of the season, and whoever was advising him, led him to reach the conclusion that it was better to take that one hot year, that white hot year that he had as a defensive tackle, living in backfields frequently. Take it now rather than maybe add another year of experience. One of the things that Mel Kiper Jr., an ESPN analyst, had to say about Davion was that perhaps another year of seasoning would have answered a few of the questions some of the NFL teams had and could have made him a first round or early second round pick in another year. Well, certainly, I think Chauncey Golston, defensive end, is positioned to be a third or fourth round selection, perhaps. I think that he certainly has a potential to be the guy that will be the next Hawkeye in line to go. I think Nick Niemann, a linebacker, may go a little higher than some people anticipate. A lot of wild cards in this year's draft, given kind of the unique nature of the season and the unique nature of the draft process as well, with NFL teams unable to hold individual workouts for players. There's a very limited amount of knowledge out there that the teams are using to make their selection. So, I think there's a few guys that could find themselves, in a pretty unique draft situation. Many of these guys will be day 3 type picks. Amir Smith-Marset, wide receiver, has a chance to be the first Hawkeye wide receiver drafted since Marvin McNutt in 2012. He's a guy that, because of his ability as a return man, could certainly move up on the draft board as this weekend progresses. Well, certainly offensive lineman Elric Jackson is a guy that will hear his name called. He's a 4-year starter at left tackle for the Hawkeyes. Has the intangibles that the NFL teams like, and he again will be probably a 4th, 5th type round selection, but he certainly is going to have an opportunity at the next level. He's a guy that has made steady progress throughout his Hawkeye career, not unlike the other guys that are in the mix this year. And Iowa has a history of sending offensive linemen to the NFL, and there were 9 that played in games last season, and he'll be the next in line. I certainly think that Tristan Wirf's success with Tampa Bay as a rookie this past season, and the history of Iowa football in terms of producing offensive linemen that are in many ways ready-made for that next level, in part because of the way Iowa teaches the game and the way Iowa plays the game. I think it puts Elric Jackson in certainly a pretty good position to hear his name called and add his name to a long list of Kirk Ferentz coached offensive linemen to be drafted by NFL teams. Certainly along with Jack Hefflin, I think you take a look at Sean Byer, a tight end who had a nice senior season, a kid out of Cedar Rapids who certainly has the potential to do some damage at the next level based on the growth that we saw this past year. Receiver Brandon Smith, not unlike Amir Smith-Marset, has some real potential at the next level as well. The kid can jump out of the gym. He showed that in a couple of opportunities in the past few months, and those two guys are going to be kind of late round selections, and if they don't get picked, they'll have an opportunity to sign pretty quickly with an NFL team as a free agent. Yeah, Jack Hefflin, a former Hawkeye, defensive tackle, one-year guy at Iowa. He has kind of the unique situation where he's played for 3 defensive coordinators in 4 years and had a chance to kind of sample a lot of different coaching styles, and he believes that's a benefit. Jack is one of those guys that would be a third-day pick. Another Quad-City area guy who competes at Illinois State, Drew Himmelman, an offensive tackle, 3-time All-Conference, defensive player of the year type kid in that league, is also one of those guys who could get the call on day 3. They certainly have the opportunity to move on, whether it be as a third-day draft pick or probably a free agent signing shortly after the draft ends. The thing that, in talking with Drew Hillman earlier this month, one of the things that he mentioned is the fact that a lot of scouts are very intrigued with his size. He's 6'10", 320. He moves around fairly well for his size, which gives him a real opportunity to get a chance at the next level. And I mean, he's not just a big guy. He's got some athletic ability too, and he's also very bright football IQ guy. He's was a Campbell Trophy finalist. So I mean, he's got a lot of intangible pieces that intrigues an awful lot of teams, and it's going to be interesting to see where he lands, because I think he is going to get a shot to at least extend his career at the next level.